make this for a friend, but you know, I've had a few people ask me how to Twix, so figured I might as well make a tutorial out of it. I'm gonna show y'all a little Twixtor tutorial, or at least how I do my Twixtor, because you know, there's different ways that you could Twix. This is how I do my Twix, you know. Shout out to this creator for making the edit, you know, obviously he's the inspiration. Look, right, so pretty much you just don't want dead frames. Like, you don't want to move one frame forward and then he's stuck in the same type animation. Pre-compose, Control-Alt-T, time remap, okay? You always delete the last frame because it's always straight bullshit. And then you boom. See right here, there's no movement. So what I do is I drag this all the way up until I see movement. I see movement, mark keyframe. I go again, no movement. You just repeat the process till you see movement, boom. Make sure you try to put on the exact one, boom, keyframe. Then again, no movement. So you do that, and then, you know, before long, every single one is gonna be like movement. After that, you cut the clip, then you pre-compose it again. You add your Twixtor settings. This is my Twixtor. I have it on this FPS because usually for my edits, I flow frame my clips. And when you flow frame, you pretty much get a clip that's 144 FPS. It pretty much adds more frames. You do 29.9, contrast, edge enhance, always warping, always forward, frame interpretation, always motion weighted blend, all that good stuff. This on 100. You pre-comp again, Control-Alt-T to time remap again, and the last keyframe will always be the black screen, right? So you want to add a keyframe before it, delete this keyframe, cut the clip, then you highlight the keyframes, you click F9 for your easy ease, and then these are my graphs. Well, to be specific, these are Amir's graphs. Shout out to the GOAT. And then boom, boom. There you go. And then that's the end of it. I've been told that this is supposed to be like the same FPS as your composition, like, you know, your editing composition. But I don't know. I wasn't like taught that way. That's not the method I've been using. I always put it to whatever FPS my clips are in. So like, let's say I have this clip right here. I had to flow frame it because it was like really warpy. So I always do whatever the clip FPS is, not the composition. That's what I was taught, but hey, there might be different ways. I know people who just, every time there is movement, they keyframe it, and then they keyframe it, and then they keyframe it, and then at the end they drag it, but like that takes my time. Like, who's realistically doing all that? For like scenes with a bunch of movement, like, okay, so like let's say this scene right here, what I do is I add like 2 or 3 individual frames before the Twixtor part. Obviously, twixing this scene into this scene would result in like a bunch of warps, you know? I'm trying to speedrun this because like I don't want this video to be mad long. I'm gonna shout out Amir again. He taught me how to Twix. This edit of his was the one that really got me into editing, and it was a simple edit, to be honest. There's no crazy effects on it, but the Twixtor was so smooth. I was like, yo, I need to know how to do this. I need to learn, and that's when I started my editing journey. So right here for this clip, boom, one frame, and then this part is Twix. A bunch of frames, and then boom, Twix. That's how I remap like specific scenes, you know? Like for this scene, that's the hand in the background. But if you go into it, these are all just individual frames that lead into this one. That's Twix. And then I have some that, like, you know, close out the sequence. That leads into that, you know, it's all just knowing what are good scenes to Twix and knowing which scenes are bad to Twixtor. You don't want warps. So if you're gonna have warps, you might as well have like just the regular clip, the regular scene. And that's pretty much the process and how it goes for most of these scenes. Like this right here is Twix, and then this isn't. Yeah, just make sure this is the same as this, because then you're gonna be skipping frames and shit. I did this one kind of wrong, but that's pretty much it for this video.